This is the Principal Spotlight from Jefferson High School, and I'm your host, Mark Preston, the principal of Jeff High School. Each week, we highlight what makes Jeff High School such an amazing place to learn and grow. Today, we have with us Mr. Zach Brennan, math teacher here at Jeff High School, and the most recent JHS Golden Apple Award winner. A little background with the Golden Apple Awards. They are sponsored by the Lafayette Chamber of Commerce, and 5 deservable teachers receive the award each year. It is a very competitive award, as many are nominated every year and only 5 are chosen. Congratulations, Zach, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's start with a little bit about your history, Zach, what you teach, how long you've been teaching, so on and so forth.
Okay, I started teaching in 2002, and I taught 2 years at Sunnyside. Back then, it was junior high, it was 6 through 8. And then as the boys and girls varsity tennis coach here, it made more sense to me to be at the high school. So I've been teaching here for the last 14 years. I teach math, and I have taught pretty much every subject that we offer through those 14 years.
Explain to the listening audience how the process works with the Golden Apple Awards.
Well, this year they changed up the process. So in the past, you had to write a letter kind of explaining your view on education and some of the things that you had done throughout your career to maybe put you to be in that category of somebody who might receive it. They've changed it this year, and I actually really have enjoyed the process. Once somebody nominates you, and they had to go through a process of saying why, other than just they like that teacher. The chamber then contacted our central office and started to look at the years I've taught and the different things that I've taught. I believe that they contacted you as well, and they had asked questions there just to find out a little bit about me and whether or not the teacher might be deserving. And if they made it through that process, they narrowed it down to just a few teachers after talking about all of that. And then there was an interview process. So I got to go in one night and just have a 45-minute to hour-long conversation about my students and all the things that they've accomplished and all the great things that have happened within my classroom over my career. And it was just amazing to be able to have a chance to tell other people outside of the education field some of the amazing things that these students accomplish.
And so once you went through that, then did they come visit your classroom at all?
Well, this time around, they used to, and
Okay.
This time around they have eliminated that process. So once I did the interview, I didn't hear anything about it for a month. And then one day they barged into my classroom and with balloons and prizes and just told me that I was selected to be one of the 5 winners.
We're speaking with Mr. Zach Brennan, math teacher here at Jeff High School and the most recent Golden Apple Award winner. So once that happened, when we came into your classroom with the chamber and announced it, and your students were there, and we took pictures and so on and so forth, that was maybe 2 months before the ceremony.
Yeah.
So then what happened between that time and the ceremony and preparing for the actual ceremony?
Well, and that was kind of an interesting process, because then I had to write an acceptance speech, a thank you speech. I had to send them some pictures of me inside the classroom, outside of the classroom that they were going to use. At that time, I just knew somehow. And then they set up an interview and came into my classroom and asked me just several questions about my views on teaching and kind of my history, kind of like we're doing today. And then they were able to take all of that stuff and put it together in this video package that on the day of the award ceremony was the first that I got to see it. And it tells the story of who I am as a teacher, I guess, and what has happened in my classroom. So then the night of the award ceremony, we were just able to watch that video, and then I had to get up and give that thank you speech.
And what did that award ceremony and the speech that you gave and watching that video, looking back over 16 years of education, what sort of things ran through your mind in that time frame when you were watching that video and as you were walking to that podium or writing your speech prior?
Yeah, writing my speech wasn't too difficult for me because I knew that there were some things that I wanted to say. There were some people that I wanted to thank. I knew where I had to make sure that the glory was placed, because I do believe that my faith, my personal faith, is the reason that I do my job. And so the speech, when I only had 3 minutes to talk, or 2 minutes, pretty much wrote itself by the time I covered that. What I probably wasn't prepared for, though, was standing in the back waiting to give that and watching the video for the first time. Because as I watch how they put that together, and to hear my own thoughts and my own beliefs about education, and to realize the difference that we get to make as educators in the lives of students, it all of a sudden became a little more emotional. And so I knew stepping out on the stage to be able to give my thank you speech was going to be a little bit more difficult once I started to tear up and choke up a little bit, seeing how it was all put together. Seeing video of the kids in my classroom and pictures of me with students, it just showed that I do have a purpose in what I'm doing. And when I think back over those years and all the experiences I've had, it's been fantastic to see them.
This is the Principal Spotlight, and we're speaking with JHS math teacher Zach Brennan concerning his most recent award, which was the Golden Apple Award. He was awarded here just a few weeks ago here at Jeff High School from the Chamber of Commerce here in Lafayette, one of 5 recipients. What does it mean to you, Zach, to be considered a Golden Apple Award winner when you think that there have only been a few that have received the award, and even fewer from Jeff High School?
That was something that I thought was interesting, because they had a bulletin the night of, and it showed all of the recipients over the last 31 years. And to see all those names on one page really kind of put it into perspective. And to know that half of those names were elementary, and then the other half, the way they do the award, they have done the award this way, was every other year was 5 were elementary. The next 2 years, or the next year, was secondary. So really only half of those were secondary teachers. It is very humbling and very rewarding to know that I am part of that group. And as I sat and I went through those names, I looked at the ones that I know, especially the ones from Lafayette Jeff, and every one of them that's on that list that I know personally are outstanding teachers. And I feel very privileged to be part of that group. Even though I feel like I'm probably the lowest of that group, it still is amazing to be able to be rewarded and acknowledged for the job that we do.
Zach, what is it about your teaching style that is so effective, or what is it about the way in which you teach that got you this recognition?
Well, I think that kind of comes back to my faith as well, because I do believe that we were made to be in relationship with each other. We were made to value that personal relationship and somebody caring about us. And the thing that has changed the most in my career, and I think when I went down a path that might get this recognition, is when I changed from, instead of just standing in front of the classroom and telling the students what to do and then expecting them to do it, I've started just sitting in the middle of the classroom. And I tell the students to come check things with me and to come work with me. And if a kid across the room says, I don't understand this, I tell them to get up and come see me. And so we just work together the entire time. And as the semester goes along, the students realize and they understand that it is not a separation between the teacher and the students, that it is a partnership, it's a relationship, it's a friendship in many situations. And the students want to come to me for help instead of dreading being wrong in front of me. They feel that it's okay and it's a safe place.
And so along those same lines, would you say it's the relationship building, it's getting to know kids, it's showing them that you care? Is that what drives you and what you enjoy most about teaching?
Absolutely. In my thank you speech, I made the comment that I don't enjoy math. I mean, I do, but I don't love it. I don't love the grading. I don't love the lesson planning. I just love my students, and I love to be able to sit there with them and to watch my students from the beginning of the year to the end of the year become better people. And when they become better people and they start to trust more and they start to open up a little bit more, they become better students automatically. And so that is my passion. It's not about the teaching. It's not about the math. It is about being able to positively impact somebody's life so that when they walk out of my classroom at the end of the year, they are a different person.
Zach, what about, you mentioned 14 years in education, and if you stay in here until you retire, that's another 25 years maybe you'll be in education. Any long-term goals or things that you'd like to accomplish as you look towards maybe the second half of your professional career?
I don't know if there's any goals because I know that people have asked me about getting into administration or heading a different direction, and I don't want to leave my classroom. So my goal is to continue to become better and to shape my career that matches the students that come in. But I do think the thing I'm the most excited about, and it may sound weird, is the first child of a student that I had in class. And I know I'm not too far off from those years that when a kid walks in my classroom and I can finally say that, I had your parents as a student as well. I think that will, for me, show the longevity of my career. It will show the importance and the impact, and especially when I can see that student and watch their parents hopefully be involved in their education and care about education, and to know that I maybe had an impact on those beliefs because of the way that I had them in class so many years ago. So I'm excited about that, and knowing that I'm going to go, you're right, it's probably 25 more years. It won't just be kids. I have a feeling at some point there's going to be a grandkid of somebody that I originally had in my classroom as well. And I really do think that that's going to be a sign of making a difference.
Well, we'd like to thank Zach for being on today's show and sharing his experiences with the process of receiving the Golden Apple Award, as well as his impact on the kids in his classroom. And as we've said many times before, the focus here at Jeff High School is not so much about test scores and grades, but about building relationships with kids. And when you do those things, the grades, the test scores, and so on will be the icing on the cake. Zach Brennan is a great example of the type of teacher we want in the classroom, building relationships with kids and making differences in their lives. So thanks again, Zach, for all you do, and thanks for being on today's show.
Thank you.
I'm Mark Preston, the host of the Principal Spotlight, signing off and reminding you to tune in each week to hear the Principal Spotlight here on Jeff 92, student-run radio from the halls of Jefferson High.